In this review, we're looking at a model from the roadworks sector. It is a Wirtgen 210 Fi cold milling machine, and as it says on the box, it's a limited edition. It is in the colours of the Italian company Ecovie, and the special edition has been commissioned by Model Maris of Italy. And this model is made by NZG. If you want to buy it, you can get it from Model Maris, and the link is in the video description below. Now it's time to get on and open the box and see what's inside. And out comes the usual set of expanded polystyrene trays. We also have an instruction sheet, which we will look at shortly. And there's also that most unfriendly of packaging pieces, the twist tie. On top of the top tray is a tool, and it's a pair of plastic tweezers which can be used in assembling the model. After that, there's just the factory tape to be cut, and then we can lift the lid and we see the model inside. We've undone the twist tie at the bottom, so it's not too difficult to pull it out. And once that's done, we can carefully lift the model out. And all we need to do is to be a bit careful because there are some delicate parts. There's also a bag of parts including spare track links. For shipping, the tracks are wrapped in something like cling film, and you have to be very careful when removing it. That's because the track links are just hooked together, and they will separate if you treat them roughly. There's also an elastic band to remove, which is helping to keep one of the doors closed. The instruction sheet shows the main features of the model, and it shows you how to install a couple of small parts. Overall, it's a nice clear set of instructions. For the assembly, we'll put the machine in working mode, and the first thing to do is to raise the cab roof. It can be pinned in position, but they are hard to install, and the review model didn't need the pins. The supplied tweezers allow you to install the control screen, which fits into place once the roof is up. It's tricky to get in, and the screen just drops into a hole, and it's slightly loose fitting. Here we're just pushing the screen back so it rests in place and doesn't drop out easily. The last thing to do to put it in working mode is to unfold the discharge conveyor. This is a highly detailed model, and that starts underneath. The small trackpads are nicely made and they're yellow like the real ones. And a really excellent part of the model is the milling drum with its red-tipped teeth. Moving to the underside of the conveyor, and the rubber belt is visible, and there's an etched mesh grille. The soft vacuum hoses are also modelled, and it all looks pretty convincing. Looking closely at the track frames, and they are really nicely modelled, and here you can see the hooked links. The decoration of the model is really nice with very sharp graphics, and small panel handles are highlighted. It is in the colours of the Italian contractor Ecovie, and it's nice to see this model in something different from the standard Wirtgen colours. Other small details include a control panel, and below the cab there's an access ladder, and the hydraulic rams for the skirt do work, although they're very stiff. The cab roof is in Ecovie colours, and there are printed wipers on the windscreen. Inside the cab there's an excellent diamond-plated floor, and all of the handrails are metal and nicely thin. A point of high detail is the control console. Also really nice is the large grille on the engine cover, and you can see the engine underneath. And at the back of the machine you have two large exhaust pipes, and plenty more sharp graphics. Also really nice are the two large fans visible through the rear grille. The big soft vacuum hoses have an excellent colour match, and that applies to the hydraulic ram jackets too. Moving to the end of the conveyor, and there are hydraulic hoses modelled, and the rubber belt inside looks suitably realistic. The first thing we can do with a model like this is to make it a transport load. And to do that we put the roof down and fold up the conveyor. Then once we've got it all nice and compact, we can whistle up a suitable truck. Now it would be nice if this one was in Ecovie colours, but instead we'll just hire in a different truck for today. We've also hired the giant hand crane to do the lift, and once the Wirtgen is on the truck you get a great looking combination. In terms of the functionality of the model, we'll start underneath and the tracks can be rolled, but again be very careful because they're easily dislodged. And the track frames are also linked together, and although the steering is stiff, you can get a reasonable angle. The milling drum rotates and it's nice and smooth, and the plate at the back of the drum is adjustable. The front pair of crawler tracks are also linked and can be steered. There is some intricate model engineering here, and the track frames can oscillate, and they are also mounted on extendable legs. So overall there are many display options. Another feature is that you have an opening panel door into the engine, and again this is particularly good because the big rubber drive belt for the milling drum is modelled, and as you can see it's flexible. You can also raise up the whole of the engine cover, and this is a real treat because the engine is very detailed, and there are lots of components. There is another very nice feature, and to get to that you need to first move aside the access ladder, and then you can open the door that gets you to the milling drum. And if you ever find that your teeth are worn out, don't go to the dentist, just pull out your milling drum and replace it. The other display option for the model is to show it at work, and the conveyor moves side to side but perhaps not as much as you would like. And if you've got a tipper truck, you can pose it being loaded by the milling machine. This is a highly detailed and functional model of this Wirtgen milling machine. It looks great in the colours of Ecovie, and it's a very flexible model and looks particularly good when posed with other models. Overall this is another really nice model of a Wirtgen machine. It is excellent.